The conflict between Israel and Hamas is rooted in a decades-long struggle over land, resources, and political control. The UN's 1947 partition plan led to the 1948 Arab-Israeli War and the displacement of many Palestinians. Hamas emerged in the late 1980s, aiming to establish an Islamic Palestinian state. Since then, Hamas and Israel have been in a bitter struggle marked by violence and ceasefires. The conflict has devastated both Israelis and Palestinians. Countless lives have been lost, and generations have grown up in fear. The current round of fighting erupted on October 7, 2023, when Hamas launched a surprise attack on Israel. Militants infiltrated Israeli towns and kibbutzim near the Gaza border, killing hundreds of civilians and taking dozens hostage. Israel responded swiftly and forcefully, launching airstrikes on targets throughout the Gaza Strip. The Israeli military declared a state of war and mobilized tens of thousands of reservists. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowed to inflict an unprecedented price on Hamas for the attacks. The violence quickly escalated, with Hamas firing thousands of rockets into Israel and Israeli warplanes pounding Gaza with relentless airstrikes. The fighting has resulted in heavy casualties on both sides, with the civilian toll mounting daily. The situation in Gaza is particularly dire, with the enclave under Israeli blockade for over 15 years, leaving residents without access to electricity, clean water, and medical care. The attacks on Israeli soil have left the nation reeling. The Israeli government has vowed to dismantle Hamas's military capabilities and deter future attacks. However, Israel's response has drawn criticism from some quarters. Human rights groups have accused the Israeli military of using disproportionate force in Gaza, resulting in a high number of civilian casualties. The UN has warned of a looming humanitarian catastrophe in the enclave, urging both sides to agree to a ceasefire. Israel has also accused Hamas of using civilians as human shields, operating from within densely populated areas. Hospitals in Gaza are overwhelmed with casualties, and essential supplies are running dangerously low. The UN has warned that the enclave is on the brink of a humanitarian meltdown. As the conflict between Israel and Hamas raged, a new front opened in Lebanon. Hezbollah, the Iran-backed Shiite militia that controls southern Lebanon, launched rockets into Israel in support of Hamas. Israel responded with artillery fire and airstrikes on Hezbollah positions in Lebanon. The involvement of Hezbollah has raised fears of a wider regional conflict. Hezbollah is a formidable military force, and its arsenal is believed to include thousands of rockets capable of striking deep inside Israel. Israel has warned Hezbollah against escalating the situation, but the group has vowed to continue its support for Hamas. The renewed fighting has further destabilized the region, raising concerns about a humanitarian crisis in Lebanon as well. The international community has called for restraint from all sides. The United States has condemned Hezbollah's attacks on Israel and urged all parties to de-escalate the situation. The international community has reacted with shock and condemnation to the violence in Israel and Gaza. The United Nations Security Council held an emergency meeting but failed to agree on a joint statement. The United States has expressed unwavering support for Israel's right to defend itself. However, the Biden administration has also called for restraint to minimize civilian casualties. Many European countries have condemned Hamas's attacks, but are concerned about Gaza's humanitarian situation. The European Union has called for an immediate ceasefire and urged negotiations. The Arab world is divided, with some condemning Hamas and others supporting it while condemning Israel. As the violence continues unabated, diplomatic efforts are underway to try to broker a ceasefire. Egypt, which has played a mediating role in past conflicts between Israel and Hamas, is leading the efforts. However, previous ceasefires have often been short-lived, and it remains to be seen whether a lasting agreement can be reached this time. Both sides have dug in their heels, and neither seems willing to make concessions. Hamas is demanding an end to the Israeli blockade of Gaza, while Israel insists that Hamas must disarm before any negotiations can take place. The international community has a crucial role to play in breaking the cycle of violence. The United States, in particular, has significant leverage over both Israel and Hamas. Until a lasting peace agreement can be reached, the region will continue to be plagued by violence and instability.